Hey, what's up, guys? You are back and tuned in to another episode of the Lizzy Jane Podcast. I am so hyped to have Tape B's episode airing from the live podcast series that we did with Lunchbox packs at SolFest at the beginning of May. I have been wanting to sit down and talk with Tape B for quite some time. We've missed each other in Denver. We finally made it happen in the middle of freaking Alabama. If you are aware of who Tape B is, he's been on absolute fire. I really all the time talk about him in a light of bringing the SoundCloud good old days back with like the bootlegs and the flips and the remixes. And it was so awesome to learn a bit more about his journey. We're both from Florida, so definitely, really cool to see another person really coming out of Florida, pushing waves, doing his own thing, already headlining so many different venues. We talked about his creative process, his come up, so on and so forth, and so much more in between. This was such a cool episode because we had a crazy live audience who came to watch in the vending area, and it was just so sick. So without further ado, this is Lizzy Jane, and you are tuning into my podcast with special guest Tape B. Hey guys, so lately I've seen a ton of larger shows I've been playing at that a lot of these festivals and venues are no longer allowing bags that are not clear. Well, guess what? Lunchbox Packs is coming in clutch again. They have just stepped up their anti-theft bags by releasing a fully clear hydration pack and snack pack. This is an absolute game changer for your summer festivals and events. Each bag is made out of TPU material that is incredibly durable, flexible, and made to not alter under extreme sun exposure over time. You also have the option to bring a skin in your bag on the way in, and once you're through that security line, you can zip on your skin for privacy of your belongings and to add some extra personalized fun flair. These hydration packs meet the majority of all festival regulations and guidelines. As always, these packs have all of the awesome anti-theft features as the original hydration and snack packs. Make sure you use code LizzyJane for $10 off any hydration pack and code LizzyJ for $5 off any snack pack. I will see you at the rave. The show today was brought to you by Vitaplur E-Boost Gum. With no pill to take or powders to mix, Vitaplur E-Boost Gum is a first-of-its-kind energy rave supplement that provides magnesium, electrolytes, and antioxidants while you chew. Vitaplur is the perfect complement to my active lifestyle, whether it's at the festival, on the road touring, or hitting the gym. Chew Vitaplur and dance with confidence. Use code LizzyJane for 10% off any order.
So let's hop into it. Tape B, you are here.
Yeah.
Real life in the flesh. Can we make some noise for Tape B real quick?
Yeah.
Love it. Live from SolFest. You have your set tomorrow. Are you excited?
Very. I'm not sure what I'm going to play yet, but I'm very excited. I have an hour. So I've been doing a lot of hour and a half sets lately because a lot of the stuff has been like headline tours and like whatnot. So I got to figure out what I could fit into an hour now.
It definitely goes from like, everybody, when I started, said the standard was like 35 to 45 songs in an hour. And then you get to that like 75 minute and then that 90 minute. And I feel like when you have 90 minutes as a DJ, you can really take people on a journey.
100%. Like that's like, cause I don't have to like think too hard about like fitting certain songs in. I can just like go with the flow and like not worry about anything. And just like with an hour and a half, you can just fit in a bunch of music.
You can fit in so much. You can play your own discography. You can test out new whips. And then you can play all the homies that you love and you're supporting.
Exactly. Like usually like the first like 10 minutes, it's like stuff I've made. And then after that, just like random songs, like homie songs, my songs. And then last 30 minutes, I usually just like save it for all like my melodic and like slower stuff just to like tone it down a bit. So like when it does end, everyone's like ready to go and not like just like end it on like an absolute end it on an absolute banger. And like, I don't know. I'd rather just like end it on something like slow and melodic.
Are you going to play your new Skrillex Bangarang flip tomorrow? Dude, I heard that clip and I was like, yo, this is so good.
I'm so happy with it. We drove 6 hours to get here from Orlando and I actually just finished it and I'm very, very, very happy with it.
Woo!
Like I was very like so for like the past like month or two, I just haven't really made anything I've been like proud of, and I was like, damn, like this kind of sucks. Like, did I lose it or what? And I would always like post clips of like stuff I was working on. I just like was like, none of this is really clip worthy. But that one I just like made really quick before I left for like this weekend. I'm like, all right, like this is cool. Like it's hip hoppy. Like no one's done like anything with bangerang like this yet. And then it was just like not really done yet. And like people were like, oh, are you gonna play it at SolFest? Are you gonna play it in Orlando? And I was just like, probably not. But I was like happy I got to finish it on the ride here because like I'm very happy with how it turned out. And it was just like so simple, but like y'all will see tomorrow.
Well, I feel like your project is this very unique thing in itself. I feel like you kind of embodied that SoundCloud era that no longer exists, where people used to make flips and bootlegs and remixes, and it would literally make their whole career. You know, you would get 100, 200 million plays on a bootleg or remix.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, you missed that, but you did bring it back in a sense. And
yeah, pretty much. That's kind of like what I go for now. Like, it's just like the old SoundCloud era was like my favorite, and like the old like UKF like 2012 era too. Just like that type of music was just like what I really liked listening to in high school and whatnot. So like being able to just like do that in my own like twist is just like really cool, because I would love to play those songs out live, but playing the original just doesn't really hit as hard because people are expecting it. So being able to like just do it in my own style is fun because it just fits the set really well. And it's just like everything clicked after like I started doing like remixes and stuff too. Like 2 years ago, it's just like after doing a bunch of remixes that I just really liked, like songs like that I used to listen to, I felt like it just like a lot more people could relate, because they were just like, oh, like I used to listen to these ASAP songs all the time, or like I love Zeds Dead, like that Collapse song was like amazing. And then like being able to put my own twist on it and like kind of revive it in some sense is just like a really cool feeling. And I love the way it like fits my sets now, and like it's like made me who I am now.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's definitely become your quote unquote thing.
Exactly.
And then your originals have really shined through that on the other side, like the It's Tape B stuff and all of the mixtapes and stuff. And it really, your project kind of, it would say it's like a capsule of nostalgia, because all the people who kind of started as ravers in their, you know, late teens, 18, 19, 20, we were hearing those bangers when we were 15, 16, 17. Mm-hmm. And I think that no one has really stepped in the space of absorbing that old UKF, old Zeds Dead, old dubstep, flux, circus record sound, and you've done that to a T with a modern touch. Yeah. You know? Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just like I just love that era. And like it's just like so cool how it works with like the tape too, because for the longest time, like I've been tape beef since like for 8 years now. Like I've been making music for a while, and it just like never really made any sense. Like I was thinking about changing my name a bunch of times, and I was like, what am I like doing with this? And then like after I played this set like in Tampa like 2 years ago, I just remember being so frustrated with myself. I was like, this isn't me. Like, why did I play like these certain songs? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, what am I doing? So I just like went home and like reevaluated everything, and I'm like, why do I do this? Like, what do I actually like listening to? And then that's when it kind of like clicked, and I'm like, I was just going through like old like UKF stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, I should just try remixing these songs. Like, why not? So that night when I got back, I remixed Eyes on Fire, In for the Kill, and Gold Dust all on the same night. And I was like, damn, like I just did that.
You know, when you're in the DAW and you're like, wow, I just struggled to finish, you know, a minute in the last month or in the last 2 months, and you're like beating your head against the wall.
Exactly.
And then something hits and you're like, you know, your significant other, your best friend comes over and they're like, wait, you did that all in 12 hours? And you're like, yeah, that hit. That was it. That's
it just clicked in that moment. And ever since that day, I'm like, I knew exactly what to do. I'm like, well, like cassette tapes are nostalgic, like, and like the B side of stuff is just like the other side of like I just think of it like as a remix, kind of like the B side of stuff, because like you have your A side, which is like the original, and then like tape B being like the nostalgic like remix side of it. So it all just started making sense after I started releasing the remixes, and I'm like, oh, like I can actually like see where I'm going with this now. And after that, it just like was so easy to work on music, because I was just like yeah, it just made sense from there.
And you know, touching on like the 8 years, I think a lot of people thought you came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I get why people think that, because like sometimes I see someone and I'm like, where'd that person come from? And I'll like look through their Insta and I'm like, well, they've been doing it for a while. Like, damn, like good for them. But like, I feel like that's something people always just think. But yeah, I've been doing it for 8 years now, pretty much. Like I started on Logic because one of my friends just came over like after high school one day and was like, you want to make a beat on GarageBand? And I'm like, what the hell is that? So he downloaded on my computer. We made one. I'm like, this is so cool. So I would just like make some here and there. And then once I graduated like senior year, got over to UCF, and then I got a scholarship, and I kind of just blew it all at Guitar Center on 2K arcades and audio interface and like a little DJ board, because I was like, I want to do this. Like, this is fun. So yeah, and then ever since that day, I just make music every day, like at home. Like I would go out like with friends and stuff, like whenever I could. But it was mainly just like college was kind of just like me waiting till tape B was good enough so I could do tape B, and it all just worked out perfectly because like by the time I graduated in 2019, like December, I was like, what am I doing? Like I really wanted to take music seriously, but like I had like a job lined up and I'm like, I'm not gonna have any time for it. And then around the same time Corona happened, and I was like, I had to move back home because I had lost my job. I couldn't get the other one. And I just like, I was like, all right, whatever, I guess I'm moving back. And then I told my parents, I'm like, all right, just please give me 1 year. Like, this is all I want to do. Like, if I don't have any progress with it, just like, I'll do whatever like y'all want. Like, I'll get the job or whatever, but like, let me just try this out. And then they were like, yeah, whatever. And then after like a year went by, like 2021, pretty much 2021, it's like it started doing like pretty well. And I'm like, all right, like it's done like really well now. I'm like, just give me 1 more year and I guarantee it'll be way better now after that. So it was just like, it was a fun time though. It was never really a struggle. Like I was just like at home, just always just like making beats, just like doing me.
I love it. And it's cool because I think a lot of people don't realize the time that you have to really devote yourself, and you have to put like 1 foot all the way in or 2 feet all the way in to really try it. And it's a mentality.
Because you got to convince yourself like that's who you are too. Because like for the longest time, like it just took so like I kind of convinced myself that it's Berk working for Tape B, because like I work very well for other people, and I feel like I've always been like that. And just like I had to get in like the mindset where I'm like, this is Berk working for Tape B. So like if you put like 12 hours like a shift like bar backing for people, like the least you can do is just work 6 hours hard for yourself if you can like convince yourself to work like that. So once I got in like that mindset, like the work ethic like helped a lot too, and like everything just started like working out smoother. Like I was banging out songs a lot faster, and just everything made a lot more sense because I was just like taking it a lot more seriously, and I'm like, this is me, this is like what I want to do.
Well, time batching and like time management is so important.
Still working on that.
And it's so important, especially when you throw in as many shows and as much touring as you're currently doing. It's so much of how do I balance myself, continue to build Tape B, have Berk all in one, and still have time for life experience and time to do fun shit that can make you really appreciate what you're privileged to do every single day. And as far as like your workflow goes, like take us in the DAW. What DAW do you use?
I use Ableton. I used Logic for like 4 years when I was like first starting, but then once I switched over to Ableton, it was just like everything just clicked a lot easier.
The workflow is astounding. Yeah. I mean,
I kind of want to try a new DAW though, just because like I'm bored of Ableton now, and I feel like keeping stuff fresh is like always just like a cool way to like inspire yourself and just be excited about stuff. Like for example, like the day I got a sub, my music just got so much better after that because I was just like inspired, and I was like had something new to like work with. Even like a new plugin could do the same thing, or just like a random little thing, even like changing up your room like or something.
Oh, I love the layout changes. The layout changes are always a like, you always feel on top of it. Take a bunch of Adderall, clean your room, you know, you're on top of everything. You're like, I'm conquering the world. And then you kind of approach things with a fresh mindset. I would say on the back end of like your production and your workflow, are you like a pretty hands-on person?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm going to suggest for you to go to Reason. Have you ever heard of Reason as far as the DAW?
Oh, yeah. I think my friend Thomas over there used it for quite a bit.
Yeah. Reason's an interesting DAW. If you really want to spite, like that's what like Virtual Riot, Funkcase, like Flux Pavilion, they all started in Reason, and some of them still use it. Very
videos
UK.
of them using it actually, so I gotta try that out. I was thinking FL because I like the trappy stuff on there.
That's for hip hop. That's
like
I
feel like more of my
shit.
style, but I mean I'm open to trying everything at the end of the day.
It's very cool because they're kind of all different things, but they all speak the same language. But at the same time, Ableton just has every DAW has an infinite amount of things that you can do.
Yeah.
As far as like working in Ableton, do you kind of draw your inspiration, obviously, from a lot of these bootlegs and flips? Do you start with sound design? Do you start with a melody? Do you watch a movie? Like where's that inspiration usually coming from?
It's very random. Like it happens out of nowhere most of the time because like I'll just hear like one sound and I'm like, oh, like it usually just starts with one sound or like something I just really like, and I'm like, oh, I could so do something with that, and then I'll just start from there. But a lot of the times I'll start with drums first and just like think of a really like cool drum pattern that I've liked recently, whether it's like trap or dubstep, and start with that, and then from there try to like go into Serum or like go through Splice and just find some like cool sounds to like put over it. And like once something like clicks, like it's usually the click really, like once something clicks in my head where I'm like, I could so do something with that, then that's when it starts like happening. But up until that, I'm kind of just like dropping like acapellas in or just like random things in until I'm like, oh wait, like I could like do something with that.
I love it. Going back to what we were kind of discussing before hopping into this conversation, you told me you were born in Turkey.
Yes.
How did you get to the United States? And once you got to the United States, at what point in your life were you like, I love EDM. This is what I want to fucking do?
So I moved here when I was like 3. My parents won like the visa lottery thing and they were just like, we're moving. So we moved to Broward, somewhere in Broward for like a year. And then I lived in Boca for like the rest of my life after that. But it was like that was all like easy and whatnot. But music. So like 5th grade, that's like when my parents got like a computer for like the house or whatever, and I would just like go on YouTube and just like go on Vivo all the time and like listen to like rap. I was like always downloading like Lil Wayne and Gucci on my like little Razor flip phone and just showing people like in like literally 5th grade and 6th grade, just like they were just like, these kids have never heard of this shit before, and they were just like, what is this? This is hard. And then that's what I like do. I like just like sharing music with people in general. But after that, like in middle school, that's when I just like, I don't really remember how I found EDM, but like I just remember listening to Glitch Mob a lot and like that sort of style. And I was really into like Glitch Mob and like just like the wubby stuff, but like it wasn't like hard dubstep. And then eventually like got into gloving because I thought it looked cool. Like all my friends got gloves and I was like, what? And then I would watch like the YouTube videos Amazing Lights would put out of like the Nebula set and whatnot. And they would just have like 6 songs behind it. I'm like, dude, these songs are fucking cool. Like how do I find these? And then eventually I found like UKF and I would just like go through like YouTube for hours every day, just like trying to find like cool music I liked. And that's like when I like knew I liked it. But at the time I didn't like consider it dubstep. I didn't know like genres. It was just like music.
It was just music.
Yeah, like it never was like that's rap, that's this. It was just like artists kind of like I really like this artist, like that artist's really cool too. Like I like this guy's sounds and like whatnot. And then that's kind of how like I got into all that. But then I think my first like my first show actually was in high school. I snuck into Asking Alexandria on Borgore and Hollywood on Dead. And I had no idea what was going on at the time. I was just an Asking Alexandria fan, and then Borgore got on and played his like Chopped and Screwed EP thing for like Asking Alexandria. And I was
all
like,
the girls are like naked on stage.
Yeah, and then that's when he had Nympho too, and like that had just come out, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, and then that was like my first show ever. And then after that I went to Life in Color when they had like the 2-day event. The lineup for that was insane. It was like Diplo, Zeds Dead, Carnage, Juicy J, Adventure Club.
That was my first festival. We're probably around the same age.
Sick.
Borgore was my first concert.
Yep.
I was a metalhead. I was so disgusted. I was like, what is this? I don't know if I can handle this. And then I was taken to the RL Grime Void Tour and I fell in love. And then Life in Color, I went when I was underage with a fake ID, and it was like insane. Yeah, no, that was a really cool time, and I just remember like that was like what really got me just going to festivals after that, because I just had such a fun time like with friends and whatnot that I was like
why not just do this like whenever there's a cool festival around? I like the music and whatnot. So after that, it was kind of just that, and then Sunset Music Festival, and then EDC like later on. But it was just like a switch between like that and then Sunset for a while, and then Sunset was like where I was like, all right, I really like this, because I went in 2015 and it was just like Tiesto, Skrillex, fuck, like Dubs, Showtek. Like at the time, I was just such a fanboy of all that stuff, and it was so perfect. Like the lineup could not have been better at the time for me. So that was very inspiring too, and that was when I was just like, all right, yeah, I love this.
And kind of like when you know, and then it's like, okay, I used to think a festival would pop out of a box, and now like kind of just like a wind up toy box. And then like the festival's there. Yeah. Sunset Festival was like my second festival year I graduated high school. Yeah. And now I have so much respect for so much that goes into even, throwing festivals this size all the way to an SMF or a Bonnaroo or an E-Forest. And I feel like, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And us as artists being able to come in and out and play for people who have worked so hard is a blessing. It's so a blessing. The flights are, the bare minimum of what we have to suffer through.
Exactly.
On the back end of the Tapey project, when did you kind of feel like you started seeing just traction from these bootlegs and these remixes? You kind of have this outer body experience where you're like, wait, is this actually happening?
Yeah, so that was a funny day. I was just like in college. I had just like made this Candy Flip remix of a flip of this like slushy song that had just come out, and I like just made like a weird like hip hop type of like twist on it. And I was just like chilling at home one day. We were all just mooking, which is like weed and tobacco, and just like out of a bong. I was just like fried sitting on the couch, and I got a notification on my phone like Trap Nation posted on their story, and I like look at it and I'm like, bot account. And I just like went back to bed and like was chilling for a bit, and a couple hours went by and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, all right, like I gotta check this again. I'm like going through and I'm like, oh no, like I think this is legit. And I go on their YouTube and they had uploaded it, and I'm like, no way. I'm like running around my house and like Trap Nation uploaded it. Like I'm like, let's go. And I was just like so happy about it, and that gave me enough motivation to just go for it. And I'm like, all right, like if that happened, like I could do anything kind of. So I just like started working harder and harder on stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna send music to this label first, and then after that, like hopefully like this label will like it, and then it'll like reach these people, and like it just like all ended up working out after that day.
It definitely ended up working out.
It was just like a snowball effect kind of. I just like kept
But that's
going
how it
with
happens.
Like I haven't stopped, like pretty much like since that day I've been releasing music like every month or so. Just like trying.
Your musical output is insane, but I can tell that you sit down sometimes, and what you said at the beginning of the conversation, you'll go through 3 bootlegs in one night. And when you get that formula down and you're flowing, you don't want to walk away from the dog. Exactly. You just want to sit and finish it.
Because like when you're in that zone, like there's no better place to be. Like it's just like, and it's hard to get into that zone most of the time too. So like when I realized like, all right, like stuff's flowing right now, like just sit as long as possible until I'm like, all right, like I gotta go eat food or something.
You're like, I haven't peed in like 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much. For me, it's the food part. I just forget to eat most of the time, because like I'll like literally get up, produce, and then like it'll be like 2 p.m. and I'm like, dude, I haven't even seen sunlight yet. And then
the time, it's like you're in a casino. It's like the time just goes by and goes by.
Dude, like lately I've been so hard on myself, like because like I don't have a week off from January to January. So Monday through Thursdays, I just like try to produce as much as I can. And I like for the past month, like I have not seen sunlight. Like from Monday to like Wednesday, I'll kind of just like sit at home the entire day. And then like once it's like 8, I'm like, oh, well, damn, it's dark out. Like, what do I do like now? And then like
you have to find balance.
Yeah, no, I'm getting a lot better about it now. Like I've like realized I should, so I'm gonna work on it.
Like go take your computer to the beach.
I just like making music. I don't know. There's nothing else I really like doing other than going to the beach. Other than that, like besides music, I really like snorkeling and like just like laying out in the sun at the beach. Other than that, and like bike. I got a bike like a month ago, and I just bike around. That's like my cardio for the day. Just like try
30 minutes a day. Get sunlight.
Literally 30
right
minutes a
inside.
day. Exactly. That's what I try to do, and it just gets the joints going, makes my back feel better. So at least I'm doing something.
I love it. Well, as you said, you have dates. Oh my God, every weekend from January to January.
Oh, I love it though. Like,
you're in month 5.
That's all I wanted to do. So I love it. Like once I find the balance too, like I like it's still like I'm not like I don't feel exhausted at all. Like I just know like as long as like I just prioritize sleep and like eating healthy, it'll be fine. Like I tested out on some weekends, and like now like pretty much when I get to a show, instead of like hanging out with people or just like doing anything else, I'll just like make sure like immediately get Uber Eats, eat something, and then just fall asleep. And like lately, I didn't realize how exhausted I was until like these past couple shows. Like for example, I'll get in at like 3, get to the hotel at 4, and then like the other day I literally slept from 5 to 11. I thought I missed my set, and I was like, I woke up drenched, and I was just like, holy shit. I'm like, I guess I really needed that. So after that, I just try to sleep a lot more now.
Oh, sleep is very important. Sleep
I
and
love
eating,
it. Before all this too, like my favorite thing to do is sleeping. So like
I'm a big nap person,
Oh,
so I'm all for the
big.
naps.
Big.
Big. Okay, so obviously you have a bunch of shows coming up. Heard you have some really big announcements on the horizon that are very, very exciting. So everybody's definitely got to keep an eye out.
Yes, a lot.
Do we have some new music on the way that we can look out for?
A ton. So next month, or so this month, Circus Records coming out the collab with Conrank. Next month, dropping an EP on my favorite label, 4 songs of like my best stuff yet, I think. And one of them I've been holding on to for like I feel like 2 years now, and I think it's still my best song I've made. It's just like a really cool house song, but it's like still me. Like you'll like I think it'll just like open up like my new project too, where like I do tech beat on the side. So like after parties, I've decided
Did that in Denver, right?
Yeah. So that was the only time I've ever done it, and it was still one of the best sets I've ever had. Like I just enjoyed it so much. The crowd was amazing, and like everyone seemed like they were having fun. So I feel like it'll be a good segue into that whole side of like what I'm trying to do, because I really like house. Like I was saying, like Tiesto, Show Tech, and all that were like my favorites back then. So like I like being able to like also do that and like not hold myself back to like just anything else. And then after that, I'm working on, so I have like my drip tapes, mixtapes that I do like once a year with like 5 rap songs that I'm really excited about. I don't know when that's coming out. I kind of just like work on stuff until I'm happy with it. There's no like really set date, but like once I'm like, I got the 5 songs I really want and I'm like, this is perfect, I'll go get artwork done for it, and then I'll just release it like the next week. But after this year, I'm going to start something new too. I don't want to release solo dubstep remixes anymore, like the UKF stuff I was doing. So instead, I'm just going to make it a mixtape where I do the same thing as drip tapes, but dubstep instead. And it's just like all the old dubstep remixes I do, but 5 of those instead. And then I'll probably do like Bangarang and like Crave You and like all those other ones. And like it'll be like a cool like just like I just love the concept of mixtapes with like tape B and stuff. So I just wanted to get more into that.
It's so you. I mean,
that's pretty much like everything.
It embodies like the whole kind of, again, tape B in like a circumference, and it's great. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was lovely to get to know you. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Same
All
here.
right, shout out audience. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yep, thank y'all.
Make sure to tune into his set tomorrow and keep an eye out.
I don't know what time, but I'll be here.
Let's go. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.